All right, everybody, welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're going on a real thrill ride. We're exploring the world of prehistoric terrors.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. We've got some seriously creepy source material to really dig into.
Yeah, what is it?
So, excerpts from a fictional horror podcast called The Black Veil, Tales of Prehistoric Terror.
Ooh, sounds spooky.
Yeah, and you know what makes it so captivating?
What?
It's based on real creatures. Creatures that once roamed the earth.
Like real-life monsters.
Exactly. Like, seriously, real-life monsters. So we're going to uncover some really fascinating facts about these extinct behemoths, these creatures.
Oh, cool.
And maybe even explore why, they still, captivate our imaginations all these years, after they're gone.
It's like peering into a world where the monsters under the bed were actually real.
You got it. And our first creature is one that definitely had me double-checking the locks last night.
Okay, I'm ready.
Megalodon.
Wow.
This giant lizard, as described in The Black Veil, is basically, it's the stuff of nightmares.
Really?
And they even suggest it might still be lurking in the Australian outback.
Oh, no.
I know, right?
That's scary.
Yeah.
What's the story with it?
Well, they bring up this blurry photo as evidence
come on.
of its continued existence. You know what's really intriguing about Megalodon, though?
No.
It wasn't just big. It was big, but it was also likely venomous.
Oh.
Most people, don't think of lizards as venomous, so that kind of sets it apart.
Right. Yeah, they're not.
So what made Megalodon so unique? You mentioned venomous.
Yeah, you're right. Venomous lizards are actually relatively rare.
Okay.
Megalodon, though, likely descended from a lineage of venomous monitor lizards.
Okay.
And, it's fascinating to imagine.
Oh.
The ecological impact of such a large venomous predator. Think about that. It's possible its venom helped it, subdue even larger prey.
Yeah.
Giving it a significant advantage, in the harsh Australian environment.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
The podcast mentions a blurry photo as evidence for its survival, right?
Uh-huh.
But if it were really still around, wouldn't we have more concrete evidence by now?
That is a good point. A creature that size, with its predatory habits, you'd think it would leave undeniable traces, right?
Yeah.
While the lack of evidence doesn't definitively disprove its existence, it does make it highly unlikely.
Yeah.
It's more likely that the blurry photo is just a case of mistaken identity or, let's be honest, a hoax to just play on our fascination with these ancient beasts.
Okay, so maybe not lurking in the outback.
Probably not.
But what about the Gobi Desert?
Ooh.
Our next prehistoric terror, according to the Black Veil, is Andrewsarchus.
Never heard of it.
It's described as a wolf that ate the world. I know, right? And they claim there have been recent sightings in Mongolia with herders reporting these giant wolves.
Oh my goodness.
And DNA tests on carcasses coming back inconclusive.
Okay.
That's a pretty chilling image, wouldn't you say?
Definitely chilling, yeah.
So Andrewsarchus was a formidable predator.
Okay.
That's for sure. You know what makes it so fascinating?
No, tell me.
While it's often compared to a wolf, right?
Okay.
It was actually more closely related to Entelodon.
Entelodon.
Yeah, so think of a pig-like creature, with massive teeth.
Oh, okay.
And a powerful build.
Okay.
Lived about 45 million years ago in what is now Asia.
Oh, wow.
And its massive skull, just suggests it was a hypercarnivore.
Hypercarnivore, what's that?
Meaning that its diet consisted almost entirely of meat.
Oh, okay.
So imagine a wolf, but scaled up to the size of a rhinoceros.
Oh, my goodness.
I know, right?
Yeah, that's scary.
So a rhinoceros-sized wolf pig, basically.
Oh, yeah.
I could see why that would inspire some spooky stories.
Right.
But what about those modern day sightings?
Yeah, what about that?
Could there be a hidden population surviving in the vastness of the Gobi Desert? You think?
Well, it's it's always exciting to consider the possibility of undiscovered species, right?
Yeah.
The idea of a large apex predator like Andrewsarchus surviving undetected for millions of years is highly improbable.
Yeah.
The Gobi Desert, while vast, is also a harsh and unforgiving environment.
Right.
A creature that size would need, like, a substantial amount of food and water to survive. And, and it's unlikely it could just remain hidden for so long.
Okay, so maybe we don't have to worry about Androsarchus roaming the deserts.
Yeah.
But what about the depths of the ocean?
Oh, no, that's worse.
The Black Veil claims that Helicoprion?
What is that?
It's a shark.
Oh, okay.
With a spiral saw.
What?
For a jaw.
A spiral saw?
Might still be, like slicing and dicing its way through the Arctic Circle.
Oh, my goodness.
I know. They even mention a Soviet submarine.
Okay.
Encountering it back in 1947.
Seriously?
With, like, spiral gashes appearing on the hull.
Oh, come on.
I know, right? That sends shivers down my spine.
Me too. Is that real?
Well, Helicoprion is truly one of the most, like, bizarre creatures to have ever existed.
Oh.
I mean, it lived about 270 million years ago.
Wow.
And its tooth whorl, which is this, like, spiral of teeth located on its lower jaw, is unlike anything seen in any other animal. And you know what makes it so intriguing? We're still debating how exactly this tooth whorl was used.
You mean like how it ate?
Yeah, with the buzzsaw jaw like that.
Exactly. Some theories suggest it used the whorl to snag, like prey, like squid, or to grind up shelled creatures.
Okay, yeah.
Others believe it might have even used it to, like, defend itself against larger predators.
Oh, interesting.
It's a puzzle, like, paleontologists are still trying to solve.
Wow. Okay, I'm getting chills just imagining this prehistoric shark with its spiral saw jaw. But a Soviet submarine encounter in 1947.
Really? Well, Helicoprion would have been like a fearsome predator in its time.
Yeah.
It's important to remember, it went extinct long before humans, let alone submarines existed.
Right.
Stories like this, they often just blend real scientific facts with creative storytelling to heighten, the sense of mystery and danger.
Speaking of chills, the Black Veil also features Deinosuchus.
Okay.
Which is this gigantic alligatoroid that supposedly terrorized dinosaurs back in the day.
Really?
I know. They say it was 40 feet long.
Oh, my goodness.
With teeth the length of steak knives. And get this.
What?
They claim there have been recent sightings in the Everglades.
In the Everglades?
Even a possible nest.
Oh, no.
With giant eggshells.
Wow.
I mean, so Deinosuchus was real.
Yeah.
A true behemoth among crocodilians.
I can imagine.
Imagine a creature that dwarfs
Yeah.
even the largest crocodiles we see today.
Right.
It lived about 80 million years ago in North America.
Wow.
And its fossil remains, I mean, they just indicate it was like a formidable predator.
Oh, yeah.
Capable of, like, taking down large dinosaurs.
Like T-Rex?
I mean, who knows? Maybe even a T-Rex.
Wow.
It's thought that it ambushed its prey from, like, the water's edge.
Okay.
Like, much like modern crocodiles do, right? Using, like, its powerful jaws and teeth to drag its victims into the depth.
That's scary.
I know. So it was terrifying. But could it still be lurking in, like, the swamps of Florida?
I don't.
Giant eggshell?
I mean, who knows?
Vanishing tourists? What's the truth here?
Again, we have to consider, like, the likelihood of such a large creature surviving, like, for millions of years undetected, while the Everglades is a vast and mysterious ecosystem.
Sure.
The chances of Deinosuchus, still living there are extremely slim.
Yeah.
We would found, more concrete evidence by now.
Like what?
Like footprints, skeletal remains.
Yeah.
Or even, like, eyewitness accounts that could be corroborated.
Okay, I'm starting to see a pattern here.
What's that?
These creatures were real, and they were terrifying.
Yeah.
But the evidence for their survival is, shall we say, a little thin?
Right. What's interesting is how the Black Veil plays on our fascination with the unknown.
Right.
Using real scientific facts
Right.
as, like, a foundation for their fictional narratives.
I see.
It highlights, like, our enduring fascination with these creatures, like, even millions of years after they disappeared.
All right. Up next, we're diving even deeper.
Oh,
I know. Both literally and figuratively.
Okay.
The Black Veil claims that Dunkleosteus.
What is that?
It's a 30-foot armored fish.
Oh, okay.
with a bite force that could crush a car.
Whoa, okay.
Might be lurking in, like, the deepest trenches of the ocean.
No, no.
They even mention a mangled whale carcass.
Oh, gee.
With, like, strange bite marks.
Oh, really?
As potential evidence.
I don't like this.
So, Dunkleostis is
Yeah.
another example of a prehistoric creature that seems like straight out of a horror movie.
Yeah.
This armored fish lived during the Devonian period, about 380 million years ago.
Wow.
And its bite force is estimated to be one of the strongest ever recorded.
Seriously?
Its jaws were essentially giant shears, capable of slicing through bone and shell with ease. You know what's really fascinating about Dunkleostis? It didn't actually have teeth.
Wait, what? No teeth? But it had a bite that could crush a car.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
I know, right? Instead of teeth, it had bony plates that self-sharpened as they, like, rubbed against each other.
Oh, wow.
So this created these incredibly sharp edges that could slice through almost anything.
Wow.
It's thought that Dunkleostis was like a top predator in its environment, feeding on other armored fish, sharks, and even early ammonites.
Wow. Okay.
So this fish had jaws of steel, but no teeth.
That's crazy.
I know, right? It's mind-blowing. But could it still be alive today? What are those strange bite marks on that whale carcass?
You know, remember, Dunkleostis went extinct, millions of years ago, while the deep ocean is still, largely unexplored.
Sure.
It's highly unlikely that a creature of that size and distinctiveness could survive for so long without being detected.
Right.
Plus, the bite marks on the whale carcass could have come from a variety of sources, including, like, modern-day sharks or even giant squid.
Okay, I'm starting to think maybe I shouldn't have listened to this podcast right before bed. But we've only just scratched the surface of prehistoric terrors. Let's take a short break and come back to explore even more of these fascinating creatures.
Sounds good.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Okay, we're back and ready to dive even deeper into the world of prehistoric terrors. Where do we go next on our tour of extinct behemoths?
Well, how about we take to the skies?
Okay.
The Black Veil tells this, like, chilling tale of Quetzalcoatlus.
Quetzalcoatlus?
Yeah, it's a pterosaur.
A pterosaur.
With a wingspan, get this, wider than a school bus.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They claim it might still be, like, soaring through the skies, citing a supposed encounter with a B-17 bomber during World War II.
Oh, wow.
And hikers finding a mysterious carcass in New Mexico.
Wow. A flying reptile the size of a giraffe. That's a visual I'm not sure I want to imagine.
Yeah.
But was Quetzalcoatlus really that big? Could it have, like, survived to modern times? Quetzalcoatlus was, like, indeed a giant among pterosaurs. Its wingspan is estimated to have been between, like, 36 and 39 feet, making it one of the largest flying animals, of all time.
Yeah.
What's fascinating is that, like, despite its massive size, it was incredibly lightweight.
Really?
With hollow bones and a slender build.
Interesting. Okay.
It soared over North America about 70 million years ago.
Wow.
Likely, preying on, like, smaller dinosaurs and other animals.
Can you imagine, like, looking up and seeing this giant creature, like, gliding overhead?
Oh, no.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
But what about those modern day sightings? Could there be, like, a lost colony of giant pterosaurs, like, hiding out somewhere in the world?
Well, the idea of giant pterosaurs still existing is certainly exciting.
Yeah.
There's, no credible evidence to support it.
Right.
Fossil evidence indicates that Quetzalcoatlus, like all other pterosaurs,
went
extinct at the end of the Cretaceous period along with the dinosaurs.
Right.
Plus, a creature that large would be hard to miss, especially, with modern technology like radar and satellite imagery.
Okay, so no giant pterosaurs circling overhead.
Probably not.
But what about lurking in the rivers of South America? The Black Veil paints this, like, terrifying picture of Purussaurus.
Purussaurus.
Yeah, it's this 40-foot-long crocodilian that supposedly, like, makes modern crocodiles look like toys.
Really?
They even claim that satellite images have captured this, like, massive heat signature.
Oh, wow.
Moving upstream in the Amazon.
Really?
Possibly, like, a sign of this ancient beast.
Oh, that's scary.
I know, right? So Purussaurus was truly a giant among crocodilians. It lived in South America.
Okay.
About 8 million years ago.
Okay.
And is estimated to have been around, like, 33 to 39 feet long.
Wow, that's huge.
I know, right? its skull alone was over 5 feet long. Just give you an idea of like the sheer scale of this creature.
That's amazing.
Unlike modern crocodiles, which have like more slender snouts.
Right.
Purussaurus had this like broad, heavy skull.
Okay.
With massive teeth, suggesting it might have preyed on larger animals.
Really?
Possibly, like even megafauna.
Wow.
That lived alongside it.
So it's really like a monster.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But what about that satellite image?
Yeah.
Could it really be Purussaurus making a comeback?
I mean, it'd be exciting, but while the Amazon rainforest is, vast and still holds many mysteries, the existence of a giant, like, apex predator like Purussaurus going undetected for millions of years is highly improbable.
Right.
It's important to approach such claims with, like, a healthy dose of skepticism.
Okay.
Satellite images can often be misleading, and heat signatures can be caused by a variety of factors, not just, large animals.
All right, skepticism engaged. But the black veil isn't done with this yet. They claim that Pulmonoscorpius.
Pulmonoscorpius.
Yeah, it's a scorpion the size of a dog.
Yeah.
Might have survived from the Carboniferous period and is lurking in, like, underground caverns.
A scorpion the size of a dog.
They even cite this, like, chilling incident in Texas.
Oh, no.
Where a sinkhole opened up.
Oh, geez.
Revealing fossilized scorpions.
Oh, gosh.
And fresh moving specks in the sediment.
What?
So Pulmonoscorpius was indeed a giant among scorpions.
I can only imagine.
It lived about 336 to 299 million years ago.
Wow.
And grew to, like, over 2 feet long.
Oh, my goodness.
It was one of the largest land-dwelling invertebrates of its time.
Wow.
And, likely a fearsome predator.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that Pulmonoscorpius lived during a time when oxygen levels were much higher than they are today.
Oh, okay.
I know, right? So higher oxygen levels.
Yeah, what does that have to do with giant scorpions?
Well, some scientists believe that, like, the higher oxygen levels allowed invertebrates.
Like insects and arachnids.
Yeah, to grow to, like, much larger sizes than they could today.
Oh, interesting.
It's like a fascinating example of how, environmental factors can influence the evolution of life.
Totally.
A scorpion bigger than my cat. No, thank you. But could it have survived all this time?
Yeah.
What about those moving specks in that Texas sinkhole?
Well, it's certainly possible for, like, smaller invertebrates, right?
Yeah.
To survive in, isolated environments for extended periods.
Okay.
The idea of a large, complex animal like Pulmonoscorpius surviving for, like, hundreds of millions of years is extremely unlikely. The fossil record indicates that, like, it went extinct long ago.
Okay.
And those moving specks in the sinkhole, they were probably just, like, insects or other small creatures that are common in those environments.
Okay, so maybe we don't have to worry about giant scorpions scuttling underfoot.
Right.
But what about our oceans?
Oh, no.
The black veil claims that the Megalodon.
Oh, the Megalodon.
The infamous prehistoric shark might not be so extinct after all.
No way.
They mentioned a submersible pilot, like, encountering a massive shape near the Mariana Trench.
Seriously?
And a fishing boat. Yeah. Like being torn apart by a giant fin off the coast of South Africa. I'm already getting nervous just thinking about it.
Oh, yeah, me too. So Megalodon is, like, perhaps the most famous prehistoric marine predator. Yeah. And for good reason. It lived about 23 to 3.6 million years ago.
Wow.
And is estimated to have, like, reached lengths of up to 59 feet.
59 feet?
Its teeth alone could be over 7 inches long.
Oh, my goodness.
Imagine, like, the bite force of a creature that size.
Okay, I'm officially terrified of the ocean now.
Yeah.
But is there any, like, truth to these modern-day sightings? Could Megalodon still be out there?
Well, the oceans are vast and, still hold many secrets.
Yeah.
The evidence for Megalodon's continued existence is highly speculative. The fossil record indicates that it went extinct, millions of years ago. Okay. And there's, like, no credible scientific evidence to suggest it's still alive today.
So no Megalodon lurking in the depths?
Probably not.
I'm slightly relieved.
Right.
But also a bit disappointed. I guess part of me, like, wants to believe there are still, like, mysteries out there.
Yeah.
Giant creatures, like, beyond our comprehension.
And there very well may be. The Earth is vast and we're, still discovering new species all the time.
But maybe we should stick to discovering creatures that aren't, like, trying to eat us.
Yeah, perhaps that's for the best.
Speaking of good storytelling, you know, the Black Veil has, like, one last creature up its sleeve. That's got me spooked.
Okay, I'm ready.
Gigantopithecus.
Gigantopithecus, what's that?
They describe it as a 10-foot-tall ape.
Oh, my goodness.
That supposedly, like, dragged off a group of explorers in Vietnam.
Oh, no.
Back in the 1930s.
Oh, wow.
They even claim there's evidence of Gigantopithecus bones.
Really?
Found in caves.
Yeah.
Like alongside charred human remains.
Oh, geez.
So Gigantopithecus was indeed, like, a giant among apes.
Oh.
He lived in Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
From about, like, 9 million to 100,000 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Based on fossil evidence, it's estimated to have stood up to 10 feet tall.
Oh, my goodness.
And weighed over 1,000 pounds.
Wow.
However, unlike the terrifying image painted in the podcast, most scientists believe that Gigantopithecus was primarily...
Primarily what?
An herbivore.
Wait, an herbivore?
Yeah.
But they found, like, bones in caves.
Yeah.
With charred human remains. That doesn't sound very herbivorous.
I know, right?
I mean...
That's where it gets interesting.
Okay, tell me.
The presence of Gigantopithecus bones in caves doesn't necessarily mean it was, like, preying on humans.
Okay.
It's possible it was, you know, using the caves for shelter.
Okay.
Or that its remains were brought there by other animals.
Okay.
Or even early humans.
Right.
The charred remains could be from natural fires. Or, you know, yes, even, like, early human activity.
Right.
The evidence is open to interpretation.
I see.
And more research is needed to, you know, fully understand the relationship between Gigantopithecus and early humans.
So maybe not the man-eating monster depicted in the podcast.
Exactly. It's important to remember that interpretations of fossil evidence can vary.
Right.
And sometimes the most sensational, like, interpretations aren't always the most accurate.
Right. Right.
Okay, so we've gone through, like, a whole menagerie of prehistoric terrors, real-life monsters, you know, all of them.
Oh, yeah.
But the evidence for their survival in the modern world seems pretty shaky, right?
That's a fair assessment. Well, it's, you know, always fun to imagine these creatures still, like, lurking in the shadows. Yeah. The science suggests they're long gone.
Well, that's both a relief and, like, a little bit disappointing. I guess part of me wants to believe that, you know, there are still mysteries out there.
Yeah.
Creatures, like, beyond our comprehension.
And there very well may be. Yeah. The Earth is vast.
Yeah.
And we're still discovering new species all the time.
It's true. But maybe we should stick to discovering creatures that aren't, like, trying to eat us.
Perhaps that's for the best.
Well, this has been quite a journey.
Oh, yeah.
Through prehistory.
Totally.
What have we learned?
Yeah, what have we learned?
From exploring these prehistoric terrors.
You know what's really, like, intriguing about all this?
Yeah.
Isn't just, like, the creatures themselves, but our fascination with them.
Oh, yeah.
Why are we so drawn to stories about prehistoric monsters?
That's a great question. I mean, on one hand, it's kind of obvious, right?
Yeah.
They're huge. They're powerful.
Yeah.
They're unlike anything, you know, we see in the world today. It's like a glimpse into, like, a lost world.
Exactly. There's, like, an element of awe and a wonder there.
Yeah.
A reminder of, like, nature's incredible diversity and the, like, vastness of geologic time.
But there's also that, like, fear factor, isn't there?
Yeah.
These creatures were, like, apex predators.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them, like Megalodon and Dinosaurs, could have easily, like, made a meal out of us.
Right, yeah.
It's like tapping into some, like, primal fear of being hunted.
Absolutely. It's that fear of the unknown, the power of nature, a reminder that we as humans aren't, you know, always at the top of the food chain.
You know what else I think is fascinating?
What?
It's almost like a thrill ride for our imagination.
Right.
That, like, rush of adrenaline.
Yeah.
But without any, like, real danger.
Precisely, we can, like, safely explore our fears and confront the darkness.
Yeah.
Emerging unscathed on the other side.
I think there's another, like, really interesting aspect to all this, too.
What's that?
The way these stories, even though they're often, like, fictionalized, right? can spark a genuine interest in science. I mean, I know I've learned a lot about paleontology just from researching for this episode.
I think you've, hit the nail on the head there. These stories can be, a gateway to scientific discovery, a way to engage people with, the natural world in a way that is both, exciting and memorable.
It's like sneaking in a science lesson disguised as, a spooky story.
Sometimes that's, the best way to learn.
Well, this has been quite the journey through prehistory. We've encountered, giant lizards, supersized scorpions, armored fish with jaws of steel, and even a 10-foot-tall ape.
We've traveled through, millions of years of evolution and explored the, incredible diversity of life that once, roamed our planet.
While we might be safe from these prehistoric terrors today, I think there's, a valuable lesson to be learned from their stories.
What would that be?
Humility.
Yeah.
We are just, a small part
of
a much larger story, a story that, spans billions of years and is filled with creatures both, wondrous and terrifying.
It's a reminder to, respect the power of nature and to appreciate the, incredible journey of life on Earth.
And with that, it's time to wrap up this episode of the Deep Dive.
Before we go, I want to leave our listeners with, a final thought to ponder.
Okay, I'm all ears.
If these prehistoric creatures could talk, what stories would they tell us?
Oh, wow.
What secrets of the past would they reveal?
Wow, that's a great question. One that I think we'll all be pondering for a while. And just in case any of those creatures are still out there listening, I want to say we come in peace.
Always a good idea.
All right, folks. That's it for this deep dive into prehistoric terrors. Thanks for joining us on this wild ride through the past.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and, keep those lights on.
But there's also that, fear factor, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely.
These creatures were, apex predators.
Yeah, top of the food chain.
I mean, some of them, Megalodon and Dinosaurs could have easily, made a meal out of us.
Oh, easily.
It's like tapping into, some primal fear of being hunted.
Absolutely. It's that, fear of the unknown, the power of nature,
Yeah.
A reminder that we as humans aren't, always at the top of the food chain we think we are.
You know what else I think is fascinating?
What's that?
It's almost like a thrill ride for our imagination, you know?
Totally.
That, rush of adrenaline.
Yeah.
But without any, real danger.
Precisely. We can, safely explore our fears and, confront the darkness, emerging, unscathed on the other side.
I think there's another, really interesting aspect to all this, too.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
The way these stories, even though they're often, fictionalized, can spark a genuine interest in science.
Oh, totally.
I mean, I know I've learned a lot about paleontology just from, researching for this deep dive.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah.
These stories can be, a gateway to scientific discovery, a way to engage people with, with the natural world.
Totally.
In a way that is both, exciting and memorable.
It's like sneaking in a science lesson, but it's disguised as, a spooky story.
Yeah, sometimes that's, the best way to learn, right?
Totally. Well, this has been quite the journey through prehistory. We've encountered, giant lizards, supersized scorpions, armored fish with jaws of steel.
Don't forget the ape.
Oh, and a 10-foot-tall ape.
We've traveled through, millions of years of evolution and explored the, incredible diversity of life that once roamed our planet.
While we might be safe from these prehistoric terrors today,
hopefully,
I think there's a valuable lesson to be learned from their stories.
I agree. What is it?
Humility.
Yeah.
We are just a small part of a much larger story, a story that spans billions of years.
Yeah.
And is filled with creatures both wondrous and terrifying.
It's a reminder to respect the power of nature.
Yeah.
And to appreciate the incredible journey of life on Earth.
And with that, it's time to wrap up this this deep dive into prehistoric terrors. Thanks for joining us on this wild ride through the past.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and